Welcome to the woods. Twice in 1 week, I think. Now, I was going to do this video as a private video just for members of the Woodlander initiative. But I think what I'm going to talk about is relevant to everyone. Most of you know that a few months back I started something called the Woodlander initiative. Now, the initial idea was to find 1,000 people who could put in £1,000, and that would give us £1,000,000 to buy land throughout the UK. Land that the members of that initiative could access and use for the purposes that we saw fit. Recreational purposes, business purposes, leisure purposes, for camping, for taking the family out, for off-grid purposes. And there were opportunities, and there are opportunities to do all of those things. And the idea is to have land in 50 counties throughout the UK. And eventually that's what we're going to get. And to all the people that joined, and to all of those people that are paying in on a regular basis, buying shares, increasing the amount of money we can use, my hat goes off to you. You're the first. You took that step. You realised that there are issues we face that aren't going to be solved overnight, and that we need to do something. You took that step, you joined, you put in some money, and now a lot of members are waiting to see what happens. Well, we've raised nearly £100,000 in a very short period of time. And I was speaking to someone the other day, and I said, in the land of the property developer and the land speculator, £100,000 is peanuts. But to people like me and people like you, that's an amount of money we would rarely ever see. So we've done incredibly well. And we've done well because we came together. And the idea of everyone putting in a small amount, and I realise that £1,000 sounds like an extraordinarily large amount to some people. But by everyone putting in that small amount, we end up with an amount of money where we can actually achieve our goals. And it's important. It's more important than even we realise. There's two groups of people I'm primarily talking to when I do these videos. Two movements, both with valid ideas. And you know who I'm talking about. We have the truth movement, a relatively new phenomena, if you would like, that seems to have rocketed in numbers in the last 3 years. And the traditional right wing, not the conservatives, but those that have recognised that there have been problems facing this country for a very long time. And these two groups have synergy. There's disagreements. I hear disagreements from the right saying we shouldn't concentrate on schizo conspiracy theories. And I hear those on the truth movement saying we should look at everything, but please don't talk about immigration. I don't want to be labelled a racist. Both of those arguments are false. We do need to look at all of those schizo conspiracies, because I'm telling you now, most of them are happening as we speak. And we do need to talk about immigration and the organisations and people behind the push for that, because it damages community and it damages our country. On the whole, these two groups rub along quite well. And in this community, the people watching these videos, there's communication. People will help each other. I have a Telegram channel as well, and the chat is always vibrant. Not a lot of censorship goes on. And I touch on this subject because moving forward, we're going to have to accommodate both sides. I did an interview a couple of days ago, and the closing question was how do I see the future? Quite a big question. And did I see a split in society? Now, this is something I've spoken about for years. I can't see any other way apart from society taking two directions. The larger group of people are going to choose to go along with what's happening to them. A smaller group will choose not to go along with what's happening. And it is happening. There's no point turning your head away and pretending that the mass immigration isn't a major problem. And there's no point turning your head away and saying that 15-minute cities, digital currencies, forced injections isn't happening. It is. It's part of the same control mechanism. And at the moment, a lot of people, even those in the truth movement, even those on the right, are drifting. Just wait and see what happens. You don't need to wait. It's happening now. Over 100,000 illegal immigrants have been ferried to 4-star accommodation that you're paying for. These aren't refugees. The 15-minute city program is going ahead. And I understand we've had small victories. We had one the other week. A whole village managed to get the Home Office to overturn their ludicrous idea of putting 250 fighting age foreign men into a tiny village in Wales. But those men weren't sent home. Those men will just be moved to another town, another village, maybe yours. It's part of the same program. It is happening. The central bank digital currency is on its way. The digital ID will probably come from a right-wing idea. And when I say right-wing, I don't mean us, I mean the Conservatives. As a way of trying to show the public they're cracking down on immigration, which they're not, which they never will. It's the same throughout Europe. The people at the very top, that parasitical class, have decided that we will be Europeans no more. That through their programme they can take a nation like Sweden, which was a homogeneous, high trust, low crime, high wage, happy, successful nation, and reduce it to a multicultural hellhole. Bombings, stabbings, rapes, crime that takes the army to handle because the police force can no longer cope. And when you reach a situation like that, the population cries out for answers, which I can guarantee you they have lined up, and will cost you yet more of your freedoms, of your liberties, that will restrict you. The current situation in the Middle East has everybody looking over there. And regardless of what side you come down on, there's plenty of meat for you to get your teeth into. We could spend the next year arguing, debating, looking at how it's going to affect us. I pointed out a few of the issues in my last video, and I have no doubt that those discussions and debates will continue ad nauseum. And I'm all for debate, and I'm all for discussion, and it's important that we see what's going on. But we need to focus on a solution. And if I'm right, and society splits, if we're in that group that decides we can't continue to live how they want us to live, contained within a 15-minute area, surrounded on all sides by people we don't know, don't trust, and who don't like us, where our money is programmed, where there's no chance and no choice. If we decide we don't want that, then we will need to build again. It is that simple. And in order to build, the first thing you need is somewhere to build. And yes, you start small and it grows. It grows. And it can be amazing. Look at what an individual can do when they walk away. When I decided to buy a tiny parcel of land, build a home, get some livestock, grow some vegetables, I'm safer here. My outgoings are minimal. I'm surrounded by what is undoubtedly the most beautiful countryside in the world. That's what an individual can do. Times it by 100, by 1,000. Show other people what we can do. And they'll come over. They'll want a part of that. Without being able to see it, people are hesitant. What's your answer? Show me it working. And that is what we have to do. Now, those members that joined the Woodlander initiative, that put in their £100, £500, and some of you, God bless you, just came straight in with £1,000. Together we've raised enough to buy our first plot of land, our second plot of land. I posted a few up a couple of weeks ago. Members have been out to visit them. I'm going to post another 3 plots on Sunday. Before this year is up, we will have our first plot of land. Before the end of next year, we'll have food growing. We'll have accommodation. We will have structures. And we will have started the beginning of what could possibly be the future. Because if it's not us that does it, it's going to be them. And you do have to make a choice. You have to make that choice. Are you willing to live in the world they're creating? I hear nothing but horror stories about how bad it is now. And little by little by little, their grip is getting tighter. The situation gets worse. We haven't got time to drift. If you haven't joined the Woodlander initiative, join. It's a tenner. If you want the opportunity of having somewhere to get away to, join. If you want to help us make a start, join. It's not going to happen overnight. There's a million other components we need to put in place. But it all starts with having somewhere to do it. At the end of that interview, when I was asked, how do I see the future? It's not dark, because it's not theirs. The future belongs to us, to you and to me. We can't leave this for the next generation. You can't leave this fight for your children. It's time we stopped waiting and took a positive step forward. Thank you for listening. Please hit like, leave a comment. I try to answer as many as I can. For the members of the Woodlander initiative, firstly, I apologise. I'm a little bit behind on the emails. I will catch up on Sunday. And on Sunday, I'll be posting land for you to look at, to view. There are brochures. Go through it. Give me some feedback. This year. But we can't coast. We haven't got time to wait. Speak to you all soon, people.